Yo, 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 what's happening? This your boy, the Professor. Want to invite y'all to another episode of the Professor's Discourse. Class is in session. Check it out. What's happening? You know what it is. This your boy, the Professor in the house. I got my boy JR in the house. I got my boy Ace in the house. Just want to say what up. Y'all speak to the people real quick, bros.
This Ace coming through from the 504, the NO, that boot, ready to have a good show, chop it
Yeah,
up. Thanks for having me, man.
for sure, for sure.
And this Junior out the Jacktown. Thank y'all
Yeah.
for tuning in this evening, February the 18th, 2025. And we bring it to you live. Let's hit it.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. Jacktown in the building. What's up? Man, we're going to jump into it real quick, man. What y'all thinking about this right here, man? We got planes falling out the sky again. Another plane. Come on, man. This time, shout out. However, the crash landing took place, but the plane landed upside down. 80 people, they survived, including the pilots to the passengers. So it's good, it's good. But why these planes keep falling out the sky, man? What's up? Hey, JR, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? You have, people that have to take care of them folks they going through something like this, because it wasn't everybody came out of that thing like, hey, they walked out of there with a couple cuts and scratches, somebody got hurt.
Yeah, man. Like I mentioned on last night's episode, that was very tragic. I'm glad that it wasn't as many fatalities as in the previous two crashes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just a sign that, people might want to deter from using that route of travel for a little while until we figure out, what is actually causing these planes to either run into helicopters or other other pilots getting confused and things of that nature. So I would just recommend another route of mode of transportation. I've taken the train recently down to the NO. It was very pleasurable. I was able to dine, have me some nice drinks, catch the scenic view, chop it up with my family. So, you know, just try to explore your new modes of transportation, man. We got railroads crisscrossing all states. We definitely have Greyhounds. And if you don't want to take your POV, just get you a nice rental vehicles are affordable again, post COVID. But I think it's going to continue to escalate, especially with the recent firing of several air traffic controllers and things of that nature on the federal level. So it may have been a personal attack by Mr. Elon, because they
Hey,
shot down some of his
yeah,
ideas and things like that with SpaceX and tried to put regulations on him and things like of that nature. So I think it's something we'll continue to see in the future. So just be mindful of that when you're trying to board that flight. If it's actually worth the risk, is the time that you'll save worth the risk? You know, I was always told to get there safely, whether you arrive on time or late, just arrive safely. I'm in the opinion of, safely is the best way to do it because I work in an industry where we capitalize on people making mistakes and people's poor judgments. So we'll gladly treat you and at a high cost as well. So that's just my first spiel on this topic. Thank you for the Mr. Invite, Mr. Professor, and thank you for joining us, Mr. Ace.
I would say this real quick before I throw it to you, Ace. Uh, the, the the chances of you having a plane crash is like 0.0000001%. 45,000 planes in the air on a daily basis in the United States. So I mean, whether it's your time, It's kind of like this here. You got a 1,862,545,929 chance of dying in a plane crash. You got more better odds of winning the lottery, the jackpot Powerball, than you do of having a necessary plane crash.
To debunk that before Mr. Ace goes, we've had three within the last 3 months. So those are great odds if you were talking about previously. But we're talking about we're entering a new space, and I don't know if everybody is aware of the space that we're living in, but I think you need to try to get woke. Something they're trying to cancel right now, the woke people. So they want everyone dumbed down. That's why they putting all this products that have things that could possibly keep your third eye from opening, the fluoride and things of that nature. But we'll allude to that later. I want Mr. Ace to give his take because I'm very interested in it.
I am too, but I just got to rebut on this one time before I let you in. I got to say this. Hey, man, we had a lot of lottery winners. We had more lottery winners in the last year than we necessarily had planes going down in this short time span. So I understand you trying to debunk that part, but the planes are falling out the sky. And Ace, I do want to hear what you got to say.
Well, I'll yield my time to JR if he want to respond to the rebuttal.
Yeah, JR, what you got?
No, sir. I'm working on my second comeback as far as my second
Okay.
soliloquy.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I have to agree with both you gentlemen. You know, in the aspect of uh, it is a low. It is a low percentage of planes going down up until recently. You know, uh, and to speak to JR point about being woke, man, I think it might have something to do with so-called conspiracy theory. Uh, because let's be honest, man, our commander in chief, they try to put him in jail, several times, so we Trump got a lot of enemies in this country,
Got a lot of
even
enemy.
yeah, man, that Drake, yeah, shout out to Drake, him right there. But yeah, man, he got a lot of enemies, bro. And then he got a lot of enemies this in the political realm, A lot of people try to take him out, man. So by him being in charge and the whole Elon Musk factor, I can see how it could be some suspicious activity going on with the FAA and these planes and all these crashes happening. So I would definitely, just to piggyback on what JR said, man, try to find another means of transportation right now, man, because it ain't the safest way to travel at the moment. You know, uh, it wasn't a major tragedy, but I think at least by 18 people got hurt on this last flight. In Toronto. So yeah, man, and that just goes to speak to that poor quality of service that we talked about on a couple of episodes ago. We don't have the same quality of people that's taking these service positions, man. And as a result, you have poor quality products, yeah, poor quality service out there, and yeah, man, it could be life threatening, as we saw in these plane crashes that's happened in this past month. Yeah, got a lot of enemies. Yeah. Better late than never. But that's my spill on it, B.
Definitely, man. Hey, definitely. I wasn't trying to take away from your spiel, bro. I just wanted to, give you give you a shout out to your peoples. Let me take y'all solo. I ain't trying to put you on blast and like that, man. Hey, great takes, man. Great takes on that first round. Again, I mean, in the last remarks, we're gonna go in that second round real quick. It's gonna be that final round. I mean, the planes falling out of the sky. I mean, we can talk about the statistics and all that, but at the end of the day, I mean, we've had some lives lost, and we definitely don't want to gloss over that part. We want to send thoughts and prayers with the people that have been victims of these plane crashes, uh, whether they was on ground or on the plane itself. It doesn't matter. It still was a loss of life. Somebody made mistakes. Some accountability has to be there. Um, as JR did allude earlier, we do got another point when we're gonna bring up some things about some of the things that happened with the FAA, which is the Federal Aviation Administration, that is the overseers when it comes to flight in America. So we got some things we got to clean up in this country. Uh, Hopefully, this administration that we have in place right now is in tune with that cleanup process in the correct manner and not on vindictive cleanup, because vindictive cleanup does not lead to success. We need real cleanup. And if it's going to be a cleanup and it's going to happen from a person that's outside of the regular realms of government that we've been experiencing in our last, in our past, and moving forward in the future, we don't need cancel society to disrupt what this great country is about, but we need accountability that will propels our country to a different level, and that's just parts of what we have to do as citizens of this great nation. We have to uphold the Constitution. And again, if the people that you have elected are not doing their mandate, then you have a chance to get them back by going to the ballot box and placing in your vote and doing your homework, doing your research. If you're not doing your research, you're not doing your homework, you're not doing your part as a citizen, then you have no real accountability to have them at accountability. JR, get to you, Doc.
Thank you, Mr. Professor. Of the 19 of 21 people that were injured, they were all taken to the hospital. 19 of those 21 have been released from the hospital, so you still do have two in critical care conditions. So just a shout out to the families. We'll definitely keep you in our thoughts and our prayers as this continues to evolve. I want to commend the flight crew. This flight crew, I don't know if y'all saw the movie with Denzel when he actually had to land a plane upside down, and any other way, all the people would have died. They say that this airport saw 20 inches of snow. They say that's more than they received in all total last year. So I just want to commend the flight crews. I wish they could have got ahead on cancellation of some of these flights. You know, that way when they would have been like diverted to other airports or possibly not even the flight would have been canceled all completely. So if we know that these winter anomalies that have been hidden, as of late, I think there's another winter anomaly on the way coming up later
Right,
this week where we will get down into the teens and 20s. And for the South, that's very, very
right.
different. That's fine for in Iowa and those northern states, but that's not typical go on in the South. So I just want them to get ahead of it. And if we need to cancel flights, go ahead and cancel it. I know it's a loss of revenue. You have to do refunds and put people in hotels and things like that. But no money value can put a value on someone's life. And that's my
No,
final
sir.
take on that topic.
No,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
No, sir. But the caveat to that, I would say this here, though, JR, is this. This flight took place, started off in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the destination was in Toronto, Canada. So there has to be better coordination and communication within the states and within the internal airspace that both of them are sharing. So there's a lot of things that can be dug into with this thing right here. And this is just the tip of the iceberg, as they would say. But I think we knocked it out of the park, fellas. Ace, you had a great points. JR, great points. I think we did what we had to do, man. It's just is what it is on that. We move to the next point, man. Like the war in Ukraine is over like that. Like that. Man, come in. Now we about to switch the switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I'm about to hit the light switch. You know what I'm saying? It's yesterday we was on, tomorrow we off. Do we as regular Americans really know the significance of like Ukraine to really America? I think you can dig into a rabbit hole for a second, but on the surface level, you can look at this here and say, hey, who are the biggest producers of steel? Then you can start really thinking about the real money that's being really spent. There was a recent tariff on aluminum and steel that was imposed with the new administration. So if we look at who the recent the current administration is more favored to, you think about, again, who's the biggest producers of steel. And maybe you get a deeper picture of why really this war is really going on. So that's something for y'all that's a little nugget for y'all to put out there and chase that rabbit if you really want to look at who's the biggest producers of steel. Once again, what's y'all takes on it though? I'm gonna go with you, Ace. I went with JR last time on the first topic. I want to give what your spiel is about. Is the war in Ukraine over with? Because we got some more facts that we're gonna drop in this regards, but it's over with like that.
Well, it can be, I think with the relationship that Trump has with Putin, I really think they like friends, like genuinely friends, So, I think Trump could convince Putin to, take what he got and just let them have the rest of what's left. Uh Man, maybe another show I'll try to reference this map that pretty much showed why Putin went into this war with Ukraine. The whole thing is Ukraine wanted to be a part of the UN, right? And so what was happening is they were doing similar tests that was going on like in Wuhan with the whole COVID lab thing. So they were doing similar tests like that in Ukraine, right? And Putin knew this. Putin knew that the U.S. had labs that was doing this illegal testing on different strands, mixing different DNAs of animals, trying to create viruses, man. So if you look at a map and you look at the UN nations that surrounding Russia, and Ukraine is a neighbor of Russia, and so Putin looked at it like they're trying to invade Russia. By Ukraine joining UN, he figured, that's the UN. That's nothing. The United States run that. They had the final say so. So He looked at them that situation of them Ukraine joining the UN as an invasion of America, trying to come in and take over. They already surrounded by UN countries. He's like, okay, my neighbor is not going to be a part of the UN, or so yeah, man, it's it's whole thing is deep, doc. You know, it's a shadow government that's running everything, and we don't really know what their agenda is. But I know what the results is going to be, you know, and the results is going to be uh, going to have eventually UN turn on America, and it's all going to be behind Israel, right? It's in the scriptures. Maybe another show we could pull it out, but it's all there, man. You know, so with Trump, Trump can he got a relationship with Putin where he can end the war. So yeah, man, it's all a game, bro. It's all a game. That's my spiel.
You saying basically it's all theater right now. It's all theater, but for what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, for the most part, man. For the
Okay.
most part,
I
yes.
guess yeah, it's all theater. I get it. It's a predestined determination of what's gonna happen. I get it. JR, what's your spiel? You on the war in Ukraine is over like that?
Well, I don't think it's going to be easy as what we're making it out to be. Russia and U.S. agreed to work towards ending the Ukraine war. That is remarkable. The Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, he met with Russian leadership, Sergei Lavrov. I can't pronounce it correctly. I'm sorry, sir. They met 4.5 hours today in Saudi Arabia without representation from Ukraine president. So I think it's more just one-sided. Uh, the current president has gone on record to say that it never had to go to war if they had just agreed to terms. But if we had carved out a piece of Russia that was previous, and this is now a new country, a new nation, that you have to respect their mind, kind of. It's not get down or lay down. And as you see, he said when they invaded Ukraine, they shouldn't have fought back. And that's like saying, hey, you can run in my house. Go ahead, take my woman, take my child, take out everything you want. I'm not going to do anything. So I know most people are not going to tolerate that. And I don't think Ukraine should have to accept that as well. I know that they have a partnership between Mr. Trump and Russia's president, Vladimir Putin, but I don't think it's in the best interest of the Ukrainians if that's the measure, just to say, hey, just give them your land and y'all just chill out, let them just run rampant over there. I don't want to see war go on because the only people that lose are the people that's actually fighting. These presidents and these generals, they're in their bunkers. They're in spaces, man. There's a few people in this group that have gone to war, and I'm one of them. And I was in a position where I was able to be in the rear with the gear because of my MOS. I was with the general at all times, and I was in a financial unit. So I'm providing services to soldiers as far as leave earn statements and making sure that they wives are receiving the checks while they're gone so they can pay their bills. And if the soldier came off and was able to actually take a leave, I could give him advance and pay because we want these soldiers to be taken care of because they're the ones that are actually doing the fighting. So I see things a little differently than most people because I understand that is a propaganda war going on the news station. That's why I don't follow those stations. I try to do in-depth research of my own because when I was over stationed where I was, I would call home. My family would be very panicked, and I was like, "Why are you so concerned?" And well, on the TV it's saying this, that, and the third is going on where you was at. I was like, "Well, It's not at the post I'm on. I'm not saying that it's not happening, but it's just not at the post that I'm on. So the narrative that's painted over here to us Americans is not the same thing that's actually being played out in these other countries. And then that's my first take on this. I'll circle back with y'all later.
Innocent thoughts. Innocent thoughts. Um, I think this war in Ukraine is, uh, again, I did talk about the biggest producers of steel. Ukraine, in the country wise, by the imprint they have right now, China's number one. China's producing the most steel. But Ukraine is one of the countries that's in the top 50 as far as behind a company by the name of Metin Invest. That's the only country. That's the only company that they really technically have by volume as of 2023. They got a very small imprint. I mean, because they have been at war. They don't even have the records for 2023, but in 2022, 11.5% volume, but it's adding up to a different the world total. It's a little different, but they produce a lot of steel. It's been impacted right now because of war they have with Russia. Russia also produces a lot of steel as well. That whole Asian continent really produces major steel. And regardless of whether it be a tariff against China, Russia, Ukraine, any country that's really coming off of that Asian continent, it's going to be some tariffs that'll be put in place. We got to look at this thing as, is America doing the right moves when it comes to the tariffs? Are we going to bring more of our production in-house and sell more of our own products the way we were in the past? Is this war really a concern that we should be concerned with? I mean, if you put it really in a perspective, Ukraine in the past was part of the USSR. And from a strategic standpoint, if I'm not down with NATO, I don't want you at my back door or my front door. However perspective you're looking at it, I don't want you at my door, period. And if I can create a better barrier for you, then so be it. On a military strategy and just for political and as country domain, a sovereign country, as they say in some terms. America has the same standpoint when it comes to our borders. We know Canada is in Canada and we know Mexico is in Mexico. Now, do we control the borders as effectively as we have wanted to? That could be a different debate. But in regards to military superiority, we control those borders in that regards. Mexico ain't coming up in our country trying to take over USA, and Canada ain't coming up in our country trying to take over USA. Now they may send, implants in that may want to take that particular role, but as far as coming in as aggressive as Russia did to Ukraine, that ain't happening to us. You ain't running up on this, and we the ones that run up on. We the youngest country that run up on everybody. Well, Ukraine younger than Russia in regards to the new setup, and Ukraine way younger than us. They way younger than than us and Russia. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see what may play out. But there was a meeting that was alluded to, that was talked about with JR. He talked about it. He touched on it briefly, but there was a meeting in Saudi Arabia, neutral grounds. Mark Rubio, he went there and met with the Russian delegates, and they talked about having the end of the war. And hey, those grounds that Russia may have gained, they may be Russia's now. And then you go into Paris or in Europe. I'm not gonna say necessarily Paris, but I think it was in Paris. but the European nations got together that are a part of NATO to say if America drops out of the Ukraine war front, where does that leave us? So it's interesting. It can, and also I don't know. I didn't hear anybody say it, but what is the thought process when it comes to what they said about the Gaza Strip, where now we're going to take that land away from the Palestinians and say, hey, we're going to make this a resort? What y'all fellas feel about that? And I toss it up. I ain't gonna give him a name. Or I give him an ace. Hit that one off.
Well, if you remember that video I played with the Young Turks, the video I played with the Young Turks yesterday was basically talking about one of Trump's biggest donors is a radical Zionist, and so basically they donated more than Elon Musk, and so
Okay.
the agenda is to get American troops over there and have them participate in genocide, man. Try to get the Palestinians out of there, and uh, yeah, but that's what I was alluding to before with the whole thing with the United Nations gonna turn on us because of Israel, man. Because how we're going over and beyond to help those people over there, and to help one set of people destroy another set of people,
Mhm.
And we're in the age of truth now, man. You got the internet, you know, you got all this information, you got the information at your fingertips now, man. Not only that, you got cameras and videos, that shows stuff in real time. So yeah, man, you're not gonna be able to get away with what he's trying to do without creating uh, another war. So yeah, that's my take on that.
JR, how you feel about that? What do you think?
Well, this has been brewing since May 14th of 1948 when they made Israel a state
There you
and
go.
they tried to sweep the Palestinians out as if that was not their land.
Right.
So this is something that was foregone. It's been a foregone conclusion that these people are still fighting over their land, and we can date it all the way back to biblical times. People are not going to just give their land away just easily. So this is something that, like I said, it's been culminating for years now, and it's kind of peaking out. And by the U.S. bagging them, they're like, well, if you don't want to do it by my way, I'm just gonna call my big brother, and he'll get you on about the way. So by us being unwillingly brought into it, we're going to eventually end up in that World War III that we all don't want, and it's going to be over
Yep.
that little piece of land
Mm-hmm.
called Armageddon down there in that stretch of Gaza. I don't want my sons or my daughters or my nieces, nephews having to fight a war like I told you when the barons and the generals and the Elon Musk and all these other people profit off of these things. We remember the last time we went to into Iraq and they were selling a hammer for $100 and a toilet for $5,000. That's
Right.
only going to cost the American people dig this deficit deeper and deeper. We hadn't seen zero balance since Clinton was in office. That was when we were all in this group, either young men about to become men, or we were in high school. So that's been a long time, man. So most of our adulthood had been spent digging a hole because Clinton was followed by a war general, basically the first Bush, and it just a
Second Bush.
profiteer. So
Second Bush.
it just okay. The second Bush, then no, the first Bush took us to
Yeah,
Kuwait the first time. Yeah, he
right,
took us there the first time when Colin Powell was the general. But
right.
yes, so this is something that's an ongoing issue, man, and people are very easily to pull the wool over their eyes. I want them to truly go back and see what 9/11 was about. It was about a demolition of a building to cause mass hysteria and get everyone there on board. Because you can't have a controlled demolition of a building and an implosion the way that that second building fell, unless it was already laced with dynamite or something. Because coming from a engineer's perspective, they said a building could not implode like that because there's so many reinforcements put in to prevent things like that. But I just want to just let the people know that don't get distracted by what the left hand is doing. Stay focused on the ball, and that's my final take on that.
You know, that's very interesting. You say that, man. You know, I, I would, I would like to do a quick demonstration. Gotta find. Damn, I don't have a. I do have this one. Do have this bill. I have a couple bills, and do the same thing of what they said that you can do. These bills.
While the
And
professor cues up that, I want everybody to go back and just watch what I mean by watch your left hand and don't take your eye off the ball. Now you see me, and it had a part two to it as well. Then you'll see what I truly mean by you got to watch the ball because if you take your eye off the ball, the left hand will fool you.
they will get with you. Um, I don't know how far this may go, a lot of y'all, but I do know that this is some shit that I seen some years ago, and it kind of eerie. I don't have all of them in place right now. And I apologize, but I'll show them in a different way. First, starting off with, they say you got to put it in a paper plane, a $1 bill, and then you put a $5 bill. You put it on the back side, not with the president face on the front side. The infamous $20 bill. That's in reference to 9/11. All these supposed to be in reference to 9/11, but the $20 bill is more impactful than any other one. And then they got the $100 bill. Again, they say it goes from 1 to the 5 to the 10 when they started reprinting the money after 96, when you had Bill Clinton in office in 96. They started reprinting the money. And they started with the $100 bill first. And they started with the $100 bill first. Even the
So
one.
before we get too deep in the show, I wanted to share a video with you, basically talking about how the country gets down. I'm gonna share it real quick with you if that's okay. It's not long.
Yeah, let's go and break it out then. Go and share it out. Put it out. I'll put you on solo.
Mm. Hold on. Let me cue it up.
This is all entertainment, y'all. This is all entertainment.
Give me a second. Let me cue it up. I lost it. Go ahead and finish with what you were saying.
I was gonna say this thing is it's deeper than what we can put on the surface level. It's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes. If the Ukraine war is gonna be over with, believe me, a money deal got made. Somebody gained a lot of money out of this situation. And if you don't believe that money is not behind it, the motivation and all that, because let's put it like this. The guy that's that's the president of Ukraine was a former actor. Okay. I know he can put on clothes and look like he's in the war and all that things. But hey, bro, if your whole country going down and you are the head of the ship, I don't want to see you make references to MLK and things of that nature. Because I don't know if y'all remember or not, but he got on TV and act like he was MLK. If you got that video ready, I'll put you back. You ready?
All right, here you go.
Bombed all the following countries since World War II. To begin, we don't have to travel very far. Just in Central America, the United States has bombed Nicaragua, Grenada, El Salvador, Panama, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Across the Atlantic Ocean, in Africa, we have Somalia, Libya, and Sudan. In Europe, the United States has bombed former Yugoslavian territories as Montenegro, Bosnia, Kosovo, and Serbia. In the Middle East, the land of freedom and democracy bombed Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, and most recently Yemen and South Asia. They bombed Pakistan and Afghanistan. Moving to East Asia, they delivered democracy and freedom to Japan, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, North Korea. Finally, during
So all that to say that America has a hand everywhere in everybody's business.
Oh, we don't mind dropping a bomb on you now. We're gonna drop a bomb. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you better get down, lay down. Shit. Ain't no in betweens. It's about you better get down, lay down. This America, Jack. We. What? You told me I can't do what? I can't tell you can't move around. This is my spot, homie. You was doing what? Here, this is my spot. We was taught that. That's what we was taught. I discovered you. I have a holiday to say I discovered you. I discovered this land. I didn't know you was a part of this land, but you're here now. So now you belong to me because I discovered this land. And so you don't want to act right? Don't worry. I'll go get some other guys that will act right, bring them over here, tell them you belong to me now because you're not at home anymore. And you're here now. And you're going to do what I tell you to do. And if you run from me, I'm going to go round you back up and tell you, come on back because you work for me. I don't care what your name was. This is what your new name is. And I don't care what your religion was. This is what your religion is. Okay? And you better stay in line because the moment you step out of line, I'm going to separate you from your mama, your daddy, your sisters, your brothers, whatever you got. I'm going to separate you. But I'm going to do some other stuff before I separate you from these folks. And God can only imagine how far I'm going to go with that part. But that's what this country about. So let's not get it twisted. Let's not act like that these nightmares, the boogeyman, wasn't created back in the day. The moment we forget that these things have already took place is the moment that you took the pill to live in the matrix of what we have right now. And the moment that you want to keep that TV on and say, hey, let cable watch me over. All I'm going to do is sit back and I ain't going to engage my mind. Because that's when they got you. So I salute the young Kendrick Lamar when he said, turn the TV off. I salute those trendsetters that saying, hey, turn that TV off.
So what I'm showing you now is U.S. bases around the world.
That's what the red is us.
Yes, that's U.S. bases around the world. We everywhere.
Yeah, but see, what you don't know is what you showing is what you seeing is U.S. What you don't know is what's the other countries. You don't know nothing about that. See what you do.
I know they're not spread out like that. I know that.
You can say they ain't out, but we and everybody else.
Nah, they ain't spread out like that.
They ain't got you.
Everywhere, B. Everywhere. Everywhere. You mean to tell me it's other countries doing that too? Nah. Have military bases like that? Those are military bases.
Yeah.
Nah, that's the only one doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what we have in this country is we have a lot of things that is, put out there. But there's bases of other countries that's not necessarily on a map like that. And they out there. So
it's not as many. One country is not. You're not gonna have Russia to have that military bases throughout the world.
It's the enemy you think you know, but you really don't know. All them red dots don't necessarily mean it's real bases in those places.
I mean, it's public
information. Huh?
I say it's obviously public information. It's not classified.
Hey, it's the enemy you think you know, but you really don't know. It's not like that. It ain't as sweet as that. It ain't as sweet as that. It look good. It feels good because we are within the 250-year range as far as the empire reaching its pinnacle. We hadn't reached the 250 year yet. So we still on the incline. We're still on our incline. So these are great times to be in as an American. It's great times. Because you got the haves, the have-nots. It's how you want to deal with it. I mean, it kind of leads me into this last topic, and I ain't trying to be too long-winded because I'm looking at the time, but leads me to this last topic, the real DOGE audit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they auditing everybody. The DOGE agency is auditing everybody. IRS, to the FAA, to the Department of Education, to hell, you can name any department you want to name. They auditing everybody. They running in with a 4-man crew. It's a team lead, an engineer, human resource specialist, and a lawyer. And they coming in and you're getting fired. I mean, you're getting fired. And they told you they was going to do this on national television. They told you, I'm coming in to fire you on national television. And y'all thought they were playing. They fired so many people that they fired people that was watchdogs over nuclear bombs. And they was like, oh, my bad. Hey, I need y'all to come back to work. My bad. You know, I'm sorry. You know, I don't know what I was thinking about. You know, it kind of got to my head a little bit, but hey, I need you to come back. Can you come back? You know, all but 28 of them. 28 of them has so far not returned back in the nuclear watchdog division, whatever the division is. But I mean, they, you know, is it a rewind of The Apprentice? I mean, that's what we're doing now. Just come in, we just fire, and we say, hey, we'd rather put in young, inexperienced people, but because they're smart, we'll bring them in and we'll let them run a whole country. That's what we own now. Nobody got a response. I'm talking to myself. Ace, Junior, JR, what's up, man? That's what we own. We're gonna let kids run us. I know you got kids.
That's the wave of the future, sir.
Huh?
That's the wave of the future, sir. So, like I told you, they're going to put people in that are less experienced, and I can pay them less. That's a way of, once people cap out at a certain amount, like, well, we can't leave them making whatever digits they're making. Let's take this rookie straight out of school that knows nothing. I can tell them whatever I want to, groom them the way I want to, and it's going to take a hell of a pay cut. So, you know, it's all about trying to save a dollar. But people saw the writing on the wall with Project 2025. They just didn't think it was real. They thought, oh, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
Yeah. That's real talk.
Well,
that's really what it's about.
We do have a pivotal hearing coming up here soon with Judge Tanya Hutton. She's was put in place with President Obama back in 2013, but she's going to be, she's from the District of Columbia, so she's going to be over the Department of Government Efficiency hearing. So, and this is a known person that Mr. Trump is calling evil. So if he's saying they're evil, that means they're probably for the people.
Yeah.
And it's just not the scenario he would want, because while he was in, I think he got to place like 3 judges, if I'm mistaken. But she has been there since 2013, 12 years already on the seat. So
right.
I think she's a little more experienced than the ones that were put in place by Mr. Trump. So we're just going to just roll with that. She could potentially shut down some of this stuff that AKA DOGE is trying to get away with.
Yeah.
And I think it would definitely help the American people, especially with all the money you say they've cut from the defense bill and also from the education bill. Because if we're going to take all the money out of the education system, where are we diverting that money to?
Exactly. And that money is going to fat pockets. It's what it's going to. It's not going to anything that's helping the people. What it's going to is concepts of, you fired, and I ain't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry, but this shit is like, you fired multiple people. You got a hiring freeze on federal government workers. Like, you're not gonna hire people, but you firing people, and you're like, hey, we're making it like, hey, you know, it's all good. We're trying to make America great again, you know, because we got to make sure that our money is being spent correctly. Really? Really? Like, stop playing, bro. You had the first run. And in 2020, when the pandemic was going on, under your administration, you had $3 trillion printed out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And you expected the following administration to say, hey, you know, we can make $3 trillion disappear. Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy? Now you got these fluffed up ass billionaires that's so-called money conscientious that reap the benefits of $3 trillion being put into the atmosphere out of fucking thin air. And now these are the people that you put in charge to say, hey, they can run a whole fucking agency. And they some out-of-towners. They some out-of-towners. They ain't even from the same hood. They ain't from the same city, from the same fucking state, from the same fucking nation. They some out-of-towners. And you like, yep, I'm good with that. Like, I'm good with that. Like, where your heart at? Where your soul at? Where the fuck are you at? That's what you about? You have no soul. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quote Kanye. I'd rather be a dick than a motherfucking swallower. You know what I'm saying? A leader than a fucking follower. That's what these MAGA motherfuckers look like to me. And I'm not calling them, I'm not being on some racist shit, but it's like, come on, bro. You know what truth is. If you don't know what truth is, then what the fuck are you looking at in the mirror? You think you got them as somebody else, or you want to be somebody else? That's your question. That's your answer. But I'm done. I'm sorry. Got a little bit about that. Somebody else get that mic.
You got anything else you want to add, JR? Well, I'll go ahead and speak on it, man. This is basically this is Trump, man. This is classic fashion. I'm rich and I do what I want to, Trump. And then he put somebody in charge, like Elon Musk, who's also rich and do what he wants to be his deputy, man. To make hard decisions, make impactful decisions, and the other side is going livid. The Democratic Party leaders are going crazy because, first of all, Elon Musk wasn't elected, and Congress has no power over him. Basically, works for Trump. So they're trying to see how they can go about, stopping their agenda. Republicans they're about small government. They're about government not being so involved in American people's lives. Making decisions for them and giving them handouts. They don't like doing that kind of stuff. So they brought Elon Musk in there, who Professor alluded to has no soul. I don't think they have one, man, but it's just not right. There was this scripture I wanted to allude to when it talks about a group of people whose soul is not upright. And it's actually, see if I can pull it up. Timely. It said, it's in the book of Habakkuk 2 and 4. Let's see if I can pull it up here. And It says, it's basically talking about, it says his watchtower, right? So the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, it starts off talking about a watchtower. And in verse 4, it says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. And whose soul is lifted up? Who's empowered? When they think of the Savior, the Messiah, Jesus, what images is pops up? When you go to do business, Japanese, Chinese people, when they go to do business with the Caucasian or the American man, they're not coming in kimonos and their traditional dress. They're dressing like the Caucasian man. So that just shows you who soul and who values and who culture is lifted up. But the scripture says their soul is not upright, man. So this is all designed for something greater. But just to get back on top of with the DOGE situation, man, Trump, Elon Musk, they're gonna do what they want to do, and they got the money, they got the power to do so, and we just got to go along for the ride, because at the end of the day, we don't have no real power. And that's my spirit.
But JR, you gotta go and hit us with something.
Yeah, I think Ace just killed that like a bird in a slingshot, man. So I don't really have much to re-elaborate on that. I think everybody had great taste tonight. I think you hit the hammer, the nail with the hammer. So I'm just gonna close out with my last soliloquy as far as thank you if you're with us this long. I want y'all to keep subscribing. I want y'all to keep liking. I want y'all to keep sharing, because we're here for y'all. We're trying to put out real information for real people who are realists and not the facade that's being portrayed out here. Thank you for your time tonight.
Yeah, real talk. Again, I gotta send my boy on that. I gotta hit it with the outro. Peace, y'all. Love y'all. Jacktown. Look, class was definitely in session. We had a great time, great spills. Everybody did their thing. This is what Jacktown about. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got the NO in the building. We got Jacktown at its finest. You know what I'm saying? We here. Want y'all to come back and enjoy, another session with us again. We got plenty more to come. Plenty more to come. We just wanted to have a little fun with y'all tonight. Enlighten y'all a little bit about some things, not get too touchy and me, you know what I'm saying, something controversial that'll have you so mad that you don't want to watch us again. We want y'all to come back.